Welcome to Your Business, Your Life with Matt DeFrancesco, your personal financial technician. Whether you've had years of success in your business or just starting out, HighLift Financial can help you create a vision for your business, life, and family, and align these for generational wealth. So as they say, what happens in your life affects your business. And now on to the show.
Before we jump back in, you share with us again, Matt, about you, your company, and then we're going to jump into other things.
Yeah, sure. So again, it's Matt DeFrancesco. I've been in financial services for the last 16 years. And my focus has been in with the small to mid-sized family business, kind of helping them to navigate all the intricacies of that business. And my particular focus now is in the automotive repair or automotive collision space, but I work with a number of different family businesses that are out there. So that's why I think this stuff is so important, because many times, many family businesses have never really thought beyond what's happening on the day-to-day basis. And these are really critical things because, you know, life throws wrenches to you and you need to be prepared for that to both not only protect yourself, but to protect your family and your business. So that's where I think a lot of these considerations come in.
This is the reason we're having the Virtual U.S. Financial Advisor podcast,
right? Is
because so many people don't understand that how big of a benefit working with a financial advisor is going to help and assist them. And especially in those dire needs, because at the end of the day, you know, we in our day-to-day do not need financial advisors most of the time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
in the like paying our bills and doing those things like that. But you make our life so much easier on those big moments where we're able to not have to stress and not having to worry about those things, especially when you're going through the darkest time of your life. Like when you have a family member that is that close that you're depending on pass away, you have so much more to deal with, where finance is just one last thing that you're going to have to do. And so
exactly.
Yeah. So working with financial advisor, call Matt, guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And let me, and can I say this? Because again, I mean, I'm one person and you know, our industry gets a bit of a bad name because there have been a lot of charlatans that are out there that are just interesting in selling product, collecting big commissions, or, you know, just charging huge assets under management fees. And they're not addressing a lot of the issues, like getting down in the weeds with the clients, but there are a lot that are. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a mastermind with, you know, 19 other rock stars that look at this way. And I think, you know, if you're going to be going to look at for a financial advisor, I think there's a couple things you need to, and questions that you should ask them. Really. I said, you know, what is your, you know, what I think the big question that people want to ask is, you know, what is your performance or what is your philosophy in managing money? I think that's a very minimal. That's one of the down the road questions. I mean, I manage my clients' money as conservatively as they'll let me. Okay. And it's funny, you know, we're going through this market volatility right now. And I had a client that called me the other day and he's like, "Oh, I bet your phone's ringing off the hook." I'm like, "No, you're the only one that's called me." And he was like shocked. And I said, "Yeah." I said, because I've trained my clients to understand we're in this for the long term. All right. And he's wondering, what am I going to, what changes are we going to make? I said, none. I said, you know, it's slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. So, you know, I think that's a key question to ask. But I think first off, I think you want to find out, you know, what is their process in working with a client? Do they do a financial plan? Okay. And I'll be honest with you, this is so funny. Do they charge for the financial plan? If they're not charging for the financial plan, they're not serious about this business. Yeah. Bottom line. I mean, because, you know, I remember early on in the business and financial planning was just becoming popular in the wirehouses, and they always wanted to do financial plans. And the only reason was we weren't allowed to charge for them. And it was only because they said the assets would be stickier. But a financial plan that you put together and put it in a nice binder and the client puts it on the shelf and never looks at it again doesn't do the client any good. And so if they're charging for it and they're going to be monitoring this on an ongoing basis, that's the baseline. I mean, I had a prospect that actually was a referral I was talking to on Monday, and I was telling, you know, and I just want somebody to manage my money. I said, well, then you need to go somewhere else. I said, go to your bank. Your bank will manage your money. All right. I said, but I require you to have a financial plan. I said, I can't do an adequate job for you if I don't have a roadmap to figure out where you want to go and how we're going to get there. And then when the proverbial stuff hits the fan, how we're going to adjust for it that works with your plan. So I think you need to find out, do they do a plan? Do they manage your, not only your money, but also manage to the plan? I think you also need to find out, are they a fiduciary? So there's a difference between being a fiduciary and somebody just being based on suitability. All right. Suitability means that, okay, I want you to buy this product and it's suitable for you. You have the assets to buy it. You have the net worth, and it's, and it's going to do what we want it to do, but it might not always be the best thing for you. A fiduciary always has your best interest in mind. Okay. So every piece of advice they're going to give you is always looking out for what's your best interest. So for example, like my firm, we're an RIA firm. So we're a registered investment advisory firm. So we're a fiduciary. So I could go in and we're looking at income solutions for a client. And I could say, well, you need to buy this annuity product and it's going to provide the income that you need. But it may be high cost, but you know what? As long as you make money and I make money, everything's okay. But again, I might be able to give them another product that's actually better suited for them. It's going to be lower cost. Maybe I don't make as much on it. All right. But it's actually going to be in their best interest to buy that product instead of this one. I'm obligated to do that. So I think looking for a fiduciary is also going to be key. Okay. And I think you want to talk to somebody that you can just relate to and that you can kind of get a sense that they're really going to always be on your side. Okay. That they care about you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's really where the key comes down. This is a relationship business. And as we've been talking about, the majority of stuff that we do is more psychology than anything. And you have to, I truly believe that if you're going to do the right job for the client, you have to care about them. And I tell prospects all the time, I got 3 criteria. First one, you got to be likable. You got to like me. I got to like you. I mean, if we don't like each other, there's no sense as he's going further. I mean, I'm 57 years old. Life's too short, okay, to be dealing with jerks.
Yeah.
Right. The second thing is that you got to be coachable. You got to be willing to listen to advice and execute the advice. So when I do a review with a client, what I do is I don't send them like a 90-page report of everything that we talked about. I send them an email with a bomb video. Hey, great meet with you. I put your action steps down below. Looking forward to getting it. Reach out if you need anything. And I have their action steps. And then I'm putting that into the contact manager so that I'm reviewing those notes all the time. And next time I talk to them, how are we doing on this? How are we doing on that? So, making sure they're staying on track. So they got to be coachable. And I've fired clients that just where it's, gone to the point I've said to them, look, I said, you're paying me and you're not listening to my advice. I feel like I'm stealing from you. All right. And I just don't think this is working.
Yeah.
Okay. So likable, coachable. And then the third thing is profitable. They got to be willing to pay you what you're worth. I mean, if somebody wants to go on the cheap, go to your local bank, go to E-Trade or one of the online brokerage firms or Vanguard. You know what? And you can do it yourself, or you can actually call an 800 number and talk to a person. It won't always be the same person. All right. But you'll go on the cheap and you can do that. But if you truly want somebody who's going to be in your corner and be that 411 when you need information and that 911 when you have an emergency, you got to be willing to pay them for it. Because you know what? Think about this. I mean, your CPA does your taxes once a year. Okay. Your attorney does maybe your estate plan once every 5 years. Okay. Your business attorney, maybe once a year. Your financial advisor is the guy who's directing all this stuff. And you're probably talking to him. Well, you should be talking to him 4 times or more a year. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So if you're going to pay the attorney and the CPA what you do, how much more valuable is a good financial advisor?
More valuable. Because they're going to be there with you for all of it.
That's it. I'll be honest. My clients, I'm the first call that they make, even before their CPA. And actually, the CPAs value that because they're not business people. They're numbers guys. And they
Mhm.
like that they call me and then I call them and say, hey, we've got this situation. Let's work through it. Okay. And I
Mhm.
work with the CPA and then I go back to the client. They don't have to deal with the client.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So I
Yeah.
know like that was all such valuable information and I wrote it all down just because, those are questions that, whether we work with you, Matt, or if people are working with somebody else, they need to be talking to those things. And, I've heard of
Yes.
fiduciary before, and it's such a valuable thing to have a fiduciary, not just a financial advisor. Like when my husband was looking for people and he was like, hey, I like this guy. I was like, is he a fiduciary? He's like, I don't know. I was like, well, you have to find out before I sign any paperwork,
That's
I need to
right.
know that he has our best interest as
Yes.
well. But I really loved your whole likable, coachable, and profitable. And if any business owner is listening right now, those things should be for every business. You have to like the
Yes.
person. That person, if you're working with them, they have to be that process of working together, and then of course be profitable. I think imposter syndrome comes in and we're like, oh, we'll just do this for free because maybe it's
Yeah.
not worth a value, but it's all worth a value.
Yeah.
And just like you said, to pay for that financial plan, people might be thinking, well, I can get it for free. Why would I pay you to do
Yeah.
it? Because you're going to be invested when I pay you to do it. If I'm
Right.
just doing it for free, I'm filling in a template and just sending it off to you. And good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. And then
so
then usually they'll send it off to a paraplanner who just plugs the numbers in, who runs it. Okay, let's get the numbers to work, boom, and then spits it out. But there's no intricacies that are in there.
yeah.
We don't understand. You got to understand that, I mean, I'll have paraplanners. Like when I get the initial data on a financial plan, I'll have them do the input on it and they'll do the base line. But then and it's part of how I think through the process is I need to go in there. I schedule time to go in there and let me rework the numbers. And I want to understand these things and start adjusting this and working on that. So then, because I know the client intimately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why a computer doesn't know who we are and what our
Right.
true needs are. A computer knows what numbers are and ones and zeros and where they should all align themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell
And,
everybody real quick though, just
good.
like how can they reach out to you? So what's the best way for people to contact you if they want to do this assessment, or if they just want to have a conversation about getting you as their financial planner? How can they contact you, Matt?
Well, probably the easiest way is go to my website, which is highliftfinancial.com.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go onto the homepage, up on the left, on the right hand side, you'll see a Let's Talk button. You can just click on that. That actually gets on into my calendar. You can find a time that's convenient for you. And I said this in an earlier episode, I give everybody 20 to 30 minutes of my time, no cost, no charge, just to learn your situation and see if it's possibly a fit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I promise, and I promise everybody this, and I do this on my podcast too, is that if we talk and it's just not a fit, I still promise you that I will get you pointed in the right direction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's to do a robo advisor, look, I'm not the right advisor for you, but I know these guys. Let me send you to them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not all perfect fits and we all do things a little differently. And I'm more than willing to do that because to me, it's about having the right fit.
Yeah.
So, but go to the website, just click on Let's Talk. You get on my calendar. Let's have a chat. And then we'll just see where things go from there. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Well, I hope you got some real value out of that. And so in the next episode, we're going to complete Hannah's assessment here. And we're going to talk about the other aspects in the financial plan, which include asset protection, funding, and planning. So we're going to take it the whole way through. I'm looking forward to being able to chat with you in the next episode. And, as always, again, if anything here resonates with you, every person's financial plan is different. So take our assessment, go to highliftfinancial.com, click on Let's Talk. We'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you and to see if the assessment is something that's right for you. So anyway, we'll look forward to talking with you in the next episode. So take care and God bless. Hey, I really want to thank you for listening to the Your Business, Your Life podcast. If you want to be notified when new episodes become available, click the subscribe button below.
The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of High Lift Financial. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investment, legal, or tax advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified professional with any questions you may have regarding your business or personal planning. DeFrancesco Financial Concierge, LLC, DBA High Lift Financial, is a registered investment advisor. Registration with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or any state security authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training.